Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode here on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. I am your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Damn, it seems like I'm not using the mic today because I don't have it plugged up, but
I can
it's
hear you
all
just
good.
fine, boss. It sounds
You hear
good.
me, fam? Let me just go ahead and take it off. All right, can you hear me good?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, cool. All right, so we got Anthony Brian Logan on today, man, and and shout out to Nipsey Hussle. We know that he lost his life yesterday. But Anthony Brian Logan made a very interesting post on Facebook. Um, I think I'll read it right now. And the post says, if you don't mind me reading it, Anthony Brian Logan, biggest mistake Nipsey Hussle made was returning to his own hood to give back. Leave the ghetto, never to return. So we're going to talk about that. I do thank him for being here. Shout out to Anthony Brian Logan. Anthony Brian Logan, thank you for being here today. Appreciate you, my man. Can you hear me?
Ain't no
You muted
problem.
yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you muted yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, ain't no problem, man. Everything's good, man. I'm glad to be here to talk about this topic because I've said this before on this panel about going back, trying to help, being part of the community. And I said time and time again, you can't come back once you get to a certain level. So this is a topic that needs to be talked about again.
Okay, well, Anthony Brown Logan, thank you guys for being here. For those of you who are going to be new, because this is going to get a lot of views, obviously, go ahead and subscribe to Anthony Brian Logan in the description. He's a really good friend of mine, very talented YouTuber. ABL, let's talk about some of the thoughts about the shocking death of Nipsey Hussle. What was your interpretation of it? Were you shocked by it? What was your initial feelings about this whole thing?
Well, first of all, I want to say rest in peace. It's a very sad situation. He's only 33 years old, had 2 kids. His girlfriend, Lauren London, no, she's going through it right now. So may you rest in peace. I can't really say I was shocked, unfortunately, because I saw a clip from him probably about a couple weeks ago. And it wasn't even the one where he was fighting and slapped a dude or whatever. Everybody laughed. It wasn't even that. The clip I saw from him was when he was talking about going back to his community and trying to build some stuff up. I was like, that might not be the best thing to do, because if you're there walking around, people see you, they know who you are, and you in the hood and you from the hood, that might not be the best thing because that's how it usually happens with these rappers. They try to go back to the community, they try to stay around, they don't want to get ran off, they want to be where they're from. But after a certain point of your popularity of a celebrity, you just can't do it. So right when I saw that footage, I was like, that could be a problem. That's going to cause us some issues because he won't just get pure love. He'll get love from some people that are there, of course, but it won't just be pure love. You're going to have some envy, you're going to have some jealousy, and you're going to have some hatred. And from what I've been hearing from people that's in LA, that's kind of what was going on. Somebody that he knew killed him.
Okay. ABL, let me kind of talk about this because people will say that, all right, this is a conspiracy theory. I mean, there's no video recording of this. People are saying that this is like a sign of a cult symbol, the Illuminati, so on and so forth. I've been seeing a lot of that on Facebook and YouTube. What's your interpretation of that?
I mean, that's just really silly. I mean, like, I don't understand where that's coming from. I think it's just people that are getting too deep into the internet, too deep into YouTube land, not really grounded in any kind of reality. I mean, people get shot and killed every day in the hood. I mean, we don't look at reality sometimes. We want to just kind of romanticize things and make it be something other than us doing it to us. This is a common thing that happens in the community. It's not common to happen to celebrities, but it is common to happen in the community. Celebrities get targeted when they stay in the community because now you're part of that stuff that goes on all the time. You're just another stripe in somebody's belt, another person that's dead out of many, unfortunately. So all these crazy conspiracy theories just come from a place of imagination and hope, just trying to have things not be what they actually are.
Well, let me talk about this, and we're gonna actually have another show right after me and you get done, ABL. But a lot of people are saying, listen, you know, the black community, especially in some of the urban poor areas, it's a lot of opportunity there. It's a lot of potential there. Other groups are there, the Asians, the whites and stuff like that. Magic Johnson has TGI Fridays and things like that. He visited his places and stuff like that. He made actually billions of dollars with his Fat Burgers, TGI Fridays, Magic Johnson theaters, and stuff like that. Um, he wouldn't even be where he is today if he didn't come back with his Starbucks and bring him in the inner city. So why is it just because Nipsey Hussle got shot and killed? We should not do some of the same thing just because this one incident. The Chinese, they get robbed, they get shot at, they get killed. The Arabs, same things happen to them. Um, you know, and they keep coming back to the black community. Why can't we?
Okay, now the thing about Magic, that's an interesting point. Now, where is Magic from?
He's from Michigan, Lansing.
Okay, so why are there no Magic Johnson theaters in Michigan? I mean, maybe there are, but I've never heard about them. I heard about them being in Los Angeles. You see
Sure.
what I'm saying? And the thing is, Magic ain't finna be in there serving you popcorn and giving you a ticket. Okay. He'll invest into the theater. He may visit occasionally, but he's not going to be there just hanging out. And he definitely wouldn't be doing that where he's from. I don't know if he's from Pontiac, Michigan or whatever. He ain't going to
Right.
just
That's a
be
good
out there
point.
hanging out on the block where he grew up
Great
in
point.
front of his, establishment, knowing that he's a celebrity. And especially not since, in the case of Nipsey Hussle, it's a little bit different because one elephant in the room here is that he's from Rolling 60s Crip.
Right.
Okay. And that is a neighborhood where they at. And it's still active out there. I'm not
Very.
sure if very active. I'm not sure if he was active. Some saying that he was, some saying that he wasn't. I don't know that. I know that he's affiliated with them. He it's not no secret. You see it in his music videos, in the songs. He talks about being from there. And that's why he built that, or he, invested into that area. This is where he's from. The 60s is right there.
Mhm.
So it's much different to be from a place where you grew up with
Mhm.
people that you've known from your childhood, a lot of dirty people that are jealous of you or envious
Mhm.
of you and hating you because they know you from back when you were in elementary school. Y'all were in the same class with Miss Johnson, and his life is not going the way that he wanted it, but your life is. So now, just like Boosie said, since they can't be around you, they can't get money with you, they can't be your friend, they can't do anything with you, all they can do is kill you. I heard, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I heard that the person that killed him, he knew. And the reason why he killed him is because he got dismissed from the store. Like I said, I don't know if it's true, but that's what I'm hearing. If it is true, I wouldn't doubt it because that's what happens.
Mhm.
They trying to be around you, trying to be up under you, trying to be cool. You're not having it, you're not with it. So it's like, you know what? I'm tired of this dude. I'm tired of him coming around here flashing this money, even though he might not be doing that.
Mhm.
But since he is a celebrity, he's rich, he has money,
Mhm.
you think he's doing that to you. You become envious, you become hateful, you become jealous.
Mhm.
So rather than just having to see him every day and feeling like that, just go ahead and kill him. It's an easy way to get done with the whole situation. That's how it usually happens. All these rappers die in their own hometown. You see what I'm saying? So Magic Johnson, he invested into a new place. Same thing with Alonzo Mourning.
Mhm.
Alonzo Mourning has the Dope Festival in Miami. He's
Okay.
from I went to the same high school as Magic Johnson. I mean, not Magic, but Alonzo
Okay.
and Chesapeake. Okay. I saw his jersey right there in my school in the glass. Okay. Every day. You would never really see Alonzo doing the Magic Fest or whatever back in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, or whatever. You would see him come through every now and again, but the things that he was doing for the community, he was doing in Miami, not so much in Virginia. Magic Johnson, he was doing things in LA, not so much in Michigan. You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? That's like just like Jesus said, you can't be a prophet in your own hometown. These
Yeah.
guys move away and then they become bigger elsewhere. They don't keep staying right where they are.
I agree. I agree. No, 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 no. I agree. I agree. Let me ask this, and guys, thank you for the super chats. I appreciate you, Black Eyes. Appreciate you, brothers. Make sure you guys, because we don't have too much time with ABL, but I'm definitely going to drop ABL at least $1 for coming out here with me tonight. We got 576 watching in the first 9 minutes, so it's a hot topic. Make sure you get the likes up, and all the fam that's new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel for this kind of content, and subscribe to ABL. In the description. Thank you for coming. Keep the likes up. I appreciate you being here. Let me ask you this, ABO. Let's take the Nipsey Hussle piece, and Nipsey Hussle is pretty much an example. He's a very he's a person that had some trouble, trouble past, and he found some way to make himself what he is. Because his name of his brand was called Marathon because he felt that life was a marathon. He's a talented black person who gave back and put on for the hood, rolling 60s. He opened a lot of doors for a lot of people. There are a lot of other black people who are not rappers or entertainers, but they have certain skill sets and they would like to go back to the black community. Now, they're not also rappers or famous, but I think that when I'm going to read your statement again, biggest mistake Nipsey Hussle made was return to his own hood to give back, leave the ghetto and never to return. So obviously, I think in this post, you're not talking about just successful rappers or just celebrities. What about the people, in my opinion, I want to make sure I ask you, what about the brothers out there who are first generational lower middle class coming to the upper middle class, the first generation black doctors, all of these people who are professionals, they have made it, they're successful entrepreneurs. What would you tell them?
I'll tell them the same thing. Don't go back. Don't look back. Keep going on a positive trajectory. Don't go back. Like if you want to help, there's no problem with that, but you don't have to be there yourself. You can donate money. You can give other things that do not require your presence. Because when you from a place, people know you, they grew up with you, they know your mama, your grandma, all that. When you come back to the place and you are successful, you got money and everybody knows it, now you're the target. You are a target. Now you can be trying to be the best person ever. You could try to uplift your community and do all kind of stuff. Some people are going to love you for it. They're going to say, just like O'Shea, hey man, you come back to Sacramento. He's in the hood. He's doing the right thing for the kids. But some people ain't going to be feeling the same way. Somebody from your elementary school class, middle school class, or whatever. Man, that fool O'Shea ain't about nothing, man. I got more money than him. His girl ain't nothing. I got more girls than him. Mm-hmm. And then they might just be so caught up in the envy because of your success. They might want to do something to you or your family. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes. This is a common thing. I mean, it's not even when you make it out the hood, what's the point of staying there? You want to try to do things outside of the hood to get people that are in that situation to get lifted out. Like, okay, if you make it out of a bucket full of crabs, you don't go back in the bucket to help the people get out. You give people a hand that's still in there to bring them out, but you can't be there. You can't be in the bucket with them to try and help. Mm-hmm. That's a way for you to get killed by the other crabs who don't want you to get out. Mm-hmm. Once you made it out, stay out. You can help from the outside. Don't go back in to help.
Let me ask you this in ABL. A lot of people see this. Shout out to my boy Aaron Ferris. Where you been, boy? Good to see Elite Class Trucking, man. I ain't seen my brother in a long time. Good to see him. Y'all get the likes up, man. And shout out to Alternative Dr. Kenya Meadows. I'm gonna read all these, but listen, we got ABL on. We got about 30, 40 more minutes. Do me a favor, all you people in the chat, like the video if you can, and subscribe here if you're new. I know a lot of you are new. ABL, let me ask you this. We have a division between talented, educated blacks or blacks who find a way for themselves somehow, whether it's in education or other means. And then those blacks who are in the lower class, okay? Those blacks who, because the talented blacks, and let me just say this, ABL, we all know that a lot of the riots in the 60s and 70s where blacks were getting their businesses, riot and stuff, a lot of talented blacks have already moved out of the inner city ghettos anyway to other places. Mm-hmm. And there's a division. Do you think that this situation is even more of a wake-up call for talented blacks to completely, hey, we love you, but from afar? There's nothing that we can really do to really be in the same circle. Is this more of because some people might say this is a little bit more elitist. Do you think that this situation will drive more kind of blacks away from, let's say, the typical Pookies and Ray Rays of the black community?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I just saw Kodak Black. He did some kind of Instagram live or something. He said that exact same thing. He was like, look, I just got off the PJ and I was going to the PJs, meaning private jet projects. But then he said, I saw what happened to Nipsey Hussle and I thought twice about that. maybe I shouldn't go to the projects, which he's correct. I mean, why would Kodak Black go to the projects? Kodak Black may have grown up in the projects. I'm not really sure if he did or he didn't, but let's just say he did. He may have come from there, but he can't be there anymore. He's successful. Why do you need to physically be there hanging out like you're still part of it? You're not part of it anymore. You need to go on and do better things with your life and create opportunities from the outside that will help those that are inside. Come up with a business and help some of your homies get a job and get some training or something like that. Don't be down there with them, hanging out with them like you're still part of it. So there definitely should be a wake-up call for sure. I mean, that's what I said that it should be. I said in my video I did today, I was like, let it be a cautionary tale. So it should be learning. And guys are talking about it. I saw Fat Joe said the same thing. He was like, you know why you don't see celebrities in the hood too much? Because you got people that are jealous, that are going to run down on them, shoot him and kill him. And it's probably somebody that he knows. That's probably what we're going to find out, that it was somebody that he knows. So if it's not a wake-up call, it most certainly should be. I think anybody that's watching this that's mildly successful, becoming successful, or even if you're trying to get away from that kind of mentality that's pervasive in the hood, you got to break away from that. Don't be afraid to leave some of your friends and your family behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can still help, but you can't be right there in the gutter with them if that's where they are.
All right, ABL, let me ask you this, because you are a Black conservative. I am also Black conservative. I'm more moderate. I think you're a little bit more to the right than I am. But one of the problems that we have in the Black community spaces, we talk about all the time, is you do have Black people in Black communities that have talent. You have young Black people in the Black communities that want to learn these skill sets, but don't have a lot of positive environments to create those things. And right now I'm in Africa, and I know that Africa is like, I mean, not to be mean to anybody in the ADOS or African American communities, but Black communities are one of those things that you have to really deal with if you really want to see change. You have to deal with those things hands on. And same thing as being in Africa when you're doing things. You have with Black people, you got to really kind of be hands on with them to a certain degree. My question is if we have these urban ghettos that are going to get gentrified immediately anyway, and whites are going to come in, like what's happening closer in that area in Inglewood and things like that. If we don't have people like Nipsey Hussle that are coming into the Black communities trying to get people into certain levels of things and trying to be positive in certain aspects, well, how are we going to turn this Black community situation around if you have this division between the talented Blacks living way far from the lower class Blacks? Is going to kind of just create a lot of division between the two groups. Some people may argue, how do we get around that?
It ain't too much you can really do, honestly. I mean, you can't be in the area. It's because you become a target. Maybe in years past and everybody lived together, the poor blacks that had money, maybe that was a better situation, but that was forced. You couldn't live apart from each other. But now that you can, there are going to be fewer and fewer blacks that are going to live amongst those that don't have much, if they have something. So out of that very small handful of people, they're going to be highlighted. It's going to be a big beacon on them. And the guys in the street, and then a big part of this is how the Black family has been fractured. There's no dads in the house. See, back in the day when you had everybody living amongst each other, you had respect for people. You had 2-parent households. The kids understood how to treat everybody. So even if they were poor and their neighbor was somebody that had money, it wasn't so much of this targeting and hatefulness and envy. It existed, but not as much as it is right now. These young boys don't care. They'll kill you for nothing. They'll kill you over $20. I've just seen people get killed like for no money just because of a disagreement, petty and minor stuff. That wasn't like that back in the day. So you got a couple of elements missing from back how it used to be. Since those things aren't there anymore, you can't really go forward until you fix that. That's why I always say when I come on these panels, fix the welfare state, bring the dad back in the house so you be able to have more cohesive family structure. That's where the genesis of all these problems exist. If you can't fix the family structure, you're not going to be able to try and come back and quote unquote build up the block, because you are just trying to put a Band-Aid over a big gaping wound. That Band-Aid ain't going to fix nothing. Okay, because you aren't going to solve anything. You have not solved the mentality that exists in the Black community. All you're going to do is become a victim to that mentality. And that's what, unfortunately, Nipsey Hussle's fate was being a victim to that mentality that he could not fix because he's only one man. All he could do was just, build up a barbershop, beauty salon, or whatever, a clothing store. He can't really do anything that's going to actually impact the people that are there as far as their mind state is concerned on the big enough level to matter.
Wait. Say it again. That last part was good. He couldn't do what?
Nipsey Hussle could not do enough to change the mindset of the people that are there in a way that is scaled to where they actually matter. He might be able to change a mind here and there, a couple of guys, but not enough to change the whole community. That's what you got to do. A couple of people here and there is okay, but you need to change the mentality of that neighborhood, of that environment. If you can't, then you're gonna have problems.
Let me do this. And guys, I'm gonna shout out the super chats. We got 889 people watching. If you are new to this channel, you're just listening to the podcast, comment in the chat, let us know that you're here. And for those people who enjoying it, make sure that you like the video. We have a lot of topics like this all the time. Shout out to my guest, Anthony Brian Logan of the YouTube channel, over 260,000 people strong. Let's get the likes up on the podcast so we can get us to 500 likes. I would really appreciate you. ABL, let me kind of take the conversation in another direction. I've criticized Nipsey Hussle before, and to a certain level, I would not even say Big U, because I'm not really so much. I know what Big U is doing in the community. I think what he's doing is great, and also to a certain degree what Nipsey Hussle was doing. But one of my criticisms of people like them was that you have the guys who were involved in gangbanging, and they still represent that in their music.
Yeah.
And they still sell that pejorative image. And then at the same time, they want to talk about in Black communities how they want to stop gang violence. I've always been super critical of guys in Black communities who were involved in gangs, but really probably still are, but just trying to act like they're not. Trying to be community activists, trying to lead the community when they were a part and still promote that sort of culture. I always felt that because guys like this, has so much power in a community as community activists. This always kept, intelligent Black men and brothers who had some sense away from people like this. But let me ask you this: is there any kind of, what is the downside of people who are involved in drugs, involved in gangs, and they say that they're not, but they promote this in their music, they promote this in their videos. And they're trying to meet with people talking about they want to stop gang violence. Is there some hypocrisy in that, in your opinion, or what?
Oh, most certainly, 100%. Because the thing about it is, you can say whatever you want as it relates to you preaching, talking about being for entrepreneurship, talking about acquiring assets, real estate, or whatever. That's all good and well. But see, in your music is talking about something else. You're talking about banging crip. You're talking about all this violence, all these guns, drugs, the women, the degenerate type of lifestyle. What you're talking about in your music, you're glorifying that in your music. You can say, "Oh, it's just an image," or what, just like Future talking about, "Yeah, I don't do lean, but it's a good look at my image." I talk about it in my raps. Meanwhile, you got a whole generation of kids that are drinking lean now because of that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this lean stuff wasn't even going on when I was a youngin'. Even though it was happening in parts of the country, like in Houston. Lean was going on back when I was younger in Houston, but now you got a whole bunch of kids all over the country that are doing lean. Why? Because it's popular in the music. These kids, like I said before, no dads in the house, no guidance, a lot of brainless people because they're aimless people. They don't have any kind of proper home training. They're going to latch on to whatever they hear in TV or music. Okay, I'm not trying to blame the TV or music necessarily for their actions. I'm just saying, when a child has no type of direction, no type of guidance, which is the actual root of the problem, they go to television, they go to movies, they go to TV, they go to music, and then they find what they want. And the lean is being pushed on them. The gangs are being pushed on them through the entertainment. So, yeah, it's a big time double standard. You're a big time hypocrite when you talk about the gang violence and glorify it, but then want to say, "Oh, don't do that." You're sending a big time mixed message.
Yeah, I definitely um agree with that. Guys, I want to read the super chats here in just a second. I want to kind of go back to one thing that you said is people like Nipsey Hussle come back into black communities and want to be there. And I would say I have the heart of Nipsey Hussle, although I'm living in Europe, but I mean I try to be around some people black. So I'm in Africa. I've been in Uganda. I'm gonna stay out here for hopefully like around a month, and then do my boards out here. You mentioned like opening up a clothing store or restaurants or some businesses like that. You're not gonna change people's um reality or situations because they're still coming from single parent homes. Their mamas are still, doing whatever they're doing. Their daddies are still doing whatever they're doing. So no matter how much you want to help the community, and then obviously you have brothers like, the guys who run the community, the ex gang members there. They don't really know how functional, healthy communities are supposed to be ran because they don't look at things. If a guy's been in a prison, I hate to say this, but if a guy's been in jail and a guy he only seen one side of life. It's impossible for him to be able to think in terms of how functional communities are supposed to run when he's
Yeah.
never been in one himself. It's really it's not fair to the people. It's really not fair to that person being leadership. But you talked about that these people, it's only putting a band-aid. It's not solving the problem. Why do you think that people like Nipsey Hussle don't, or not saying him, but when he was alive, why don't you think he spoke more to what's really hurting the black community and starting to try to get people to understand, hey, these are some of the issues that we should be focused on. Why don't you think that people like Nipsey, people who are in the communities like that are involved doing good things, why don't they speak to it to the level of what we really know that's going on a problem, but we want to kind of sweep it under the rug?
Well, I don't know about Nipsey specifically, what he said and what
Sure.
he didn't say, but I mean, most of these guys don't know themselves. They trying to figure it out. A lot of what, because I was seeing some clips about Nipsey recently, and I seen things from him before in years past. Um, he's trying to figure it out. He's the kind of guy that I was when I was like in my early 20s, just trying to figure out which direction you want to go in life, trying to find yourself, trying to figure out who you are. It's a lot of guys
Mm.
like that. And if these guys are the leaders, you got a big time problem because they're going to lead you wherever they think is the right way to go at a particular point in time, not to the correct or proper direction. You see, he's talking about trying to, buy up the block like that. That type of mentality, that's not going to actually fix anything. If he was to dig a little bit deeper, he will understand that you got to be able to, get involved with some kind of politics, get involved with raising children properly. That's the main thing because the kids are going to grow up to be the next generation. You got to raise them to be squares. You can't be uh, promoting your game banging lifestyle. You can't be talking about that in your music and then expect for kids not to gravitate towards that and duplicate it. See, you're perpetuating the very problem that you're trying to eradicate. So you
Hmm.
don't understand that because you're still trying to find your way yourself. Or maybe they do understand to a certain point, but at the same time, they got to eat. And what's been feeding them
Uh-huh.
for a long time has been this rap music. Nipsey's been out for a long time. You're talking about since like maybe even '09 or before then. So a lot of guys are just been hearing about him or may have just heard about him today. Didn't even know who he was really. But he's been around for a very long time, touring with Game and all the other people. Okay, so he's been trying to make it for a minute. So when you in that kind of world, when you in that lifestyle, trying to make it, you get a little bit of a name for yourself, making a little bit of money here and there. You're trying to build on top of that. So you're trying to figure out what's going to actually stick as far as relates to music. If you can promote uh, the crip lifestyle, if you can promote the drugs, violence, women, and that works for you, you're going to continue to do that. While at the same time, trying to talk about this consciousness stuff to maybe help your own self go forward and to publicly display your particular personal path, your personal path. Imagine your actual professional path as far as the music. So these guys don't really know the proper direction themselves, although they'll tell you that they do know. They don't. They're just trying to find a way, like a lot of young boys out here in the hood are.
Let me talk about this. And guys, I'm gonna shout out the super chats because one thing I want to give Nipsey Hussle a lot of credit for was his too big to I believe it was called um too big to fail. His STEM program that he was launching which I thought was, he was trying to create pretty much a Silicon Valley hub center, creating opportunities from there to Silicon Valley. I thought that was a really, really awesome thing. So I will definitely give him credit for that. But let me go ahead and just shout out some people. We got the great ABL. We got 1,000 people on right now watching. Some of you guys are new to the channel. If you like this kind of content, hopefully that you will subscribe to Anthony Brian Logan. Find him and there, subscribe to him, hit the bell, and subscribe to this channel too. Let me shout out to Darkside 90. Oh shit, you used to simp, but now you're teaching black men not to simp. Why can't Nipsey talk about not gangbanging as a reformed gangster? Darkside, I think the issue is I don't really know Nipsey Hussle too well, right? But what I see from the videos, what I hear from the music is that lifestyle was still being pushed. Okay, I mean, so in the music, so that's what I think. And him and other people who say they're ex gang members still pretty much glorify that type of life. That's my only criticism. But let me shout out Everson Kennedy. The difference between Nipsey and ABL is that Nip was willing to give his life for people who had nothing to offer him but their own sickness. He said coon babble.
That's so silly. I mean, the man had kids and everything. He had two small kids. Matter of fact, I heard that he got killed in front of his 3-year-old. A 3-year-old. Lucky the baby ain't die. We talking about he wanted to give like you saying that he did something like valiant and great. That man made a bad decision. His kids, what are they going to do now? See, now you're perpetuating this whole fatherless lifestyle. And what are they going to do when they grow up? How are they going to be? It ain't making no sense. Family come first, not just your pride or your hood. No, you got kids. Come on.
All right. Bagley, $2 super chat. Thank you. Appreciate what you do in the manage for ABA. You telling the truth. They may have felt sorry, but that's their problem. Ice Cube still in the Compton. He playing in kids' movies. Right. Everett Overton, EO, buy some rubber. Shout out to EO. Marcus Love, get the likes up there free. Natty Nate, Natty _Nate _DC, ABL. For brothers that are successful want to get back, what are the ways to do it? We'll go back to that one real quick. Dr. Kenyon Medicine, Dr. Kenyon Meadows, MD, terribly saddened by the death of this family man entrepreneur. Real risk of living around people with much less to lose than you do. I write checks to help instead. Woo! Let me read what the doc said. It's a real risk of living around people with much less to lose than you do. I will write checks to help instead. I know that's right.
Boom.
That's the
Perfect.
Dr. Kenyon Meadows saying that. Mainstream simply take the big ups for not doing trigger content, fam. Thank you. Terrence B. Black Heights. Upsetting to see a brother wanting to provide jobs in the future for the working class get assassinated by the same people who he tried to invest in. Let me read that again. Upsetting to see a brother wanting to provide jobs in the future for the working class get assassinated by the same people who he tried to invest in. Gotta have security at all times. Handy Rapper, RIP, Nipsey Hussle. Nelson Madias. If the Arabs and Asians can comfortably do business in the hood, then black men should be able to do business as well. I don't care. RIP Nipsey. Javon Smiley. Hashtag buy the block. Stephen Flo. Adari9. Thank you so much, brother. Let me kind of get back to this real quick. Question is, ABL, for brothers that are successful and want to give back, what are the ways to do it? And we'll talk about his STEM program.
I mean, the best way is just to give money from the outside. Just donate money from the outside, come up with programs from the outside, try to invest in schools. I mean, do it like kind of like what LeBron did. That's probably a good way to look at it because, you know, he put a school into the community. Now, we all know that it wasn't all his money and it wasn't just him that was behind it. It was the city, but that's how you do it. You talk to the city where you're from and you say, hey, what can we do to help? I got some money. I want to give back to the community. Well, they say, hey, we have a school here. It needs some investment. You put some cash into it. You can help your community that way. You can help raise children in school that way. Give them a good education, give them a good foundation upon which they can build. And this school, if I'm not mistaken, is like an alternative school. So you got a lot of people that are in there that are behind, that are kind of struggling. So focus on the kids that are struggling, that need some extra help. And you can do it that way. LeBron ain't going to be there teaching them classes. LeBron ain't going to be there handing out book bags and T-shirts and stuff like that. He's going to be playing basketball and living in Calabasas in Los Angeles in the off season. Okay. Right. He's not going to be out in the hood, hanging out, selling T-shirts. He's not going to do that. Okay. That's how you give back. And even if you don't have a little LeBron James type money, you can still give to charity. There's all kind of programs you can be involved with that don't involve you having to be out there in the hood. Okay. That's how you do it. If you really want to help, if you got a little bit of money, you don't got no kids, how about you adopt some kids? Take it from the orphanages right there in the hood and bring them into your house and raise them.
Right.
I'm just throwing things out there. If you really want to help, you don't have to be in the ghetto to help. You can donate money, you can adopt kids, you can help put money into certain things. If one of your homies needs some money to open up a store or something like that, and you trust them that it's going to actually take off, or you want to give them a gift, give money that way. That's how you're able to actually contribute without having to actually physically be there. He did not have to be at that store. There was no reason to. He has money to open up stuff, to build stuff right there on Crenshaw and Slauson. All you gotta do is hire one of the homies from 60s. Maybe not from there, but at least one of the homies that you know that you can trust and have them work the store. If it was me, you wouldn't even know that I was the guy that was behind it. If I were Nipsey, I would just donate money silent to the whole situation, develop it, and then bring some regular people in there to work. You know, it'd be a regular thing, job interview. Here's a payment per hour, and have it run efficiently like that. Don't try to be in there making it like it's some kind of spectacle that you just trying to give back. That's not how you do things. Do it the right way. Don't do it the way that's kind of like a vain way, in my humble opinion.
You know, let me talk about this, right? This STEM program, and you know, and it just kind of goes back. You know, you look at somebody like Nipsey Hussle, and he's doing something with this that even brothers. I was a bachelor's of science in biology, right? And I got to give him a lot of credit, a big shout out for this. He had planned to launch the Too Big to Fail Academy with his buddy Dave Gross, and this was supposed to be a model that developed, you know, black kids in the inner city, training them to get into the STEM fields and making a shift in Black America. Let me ask you: are these the kind of programs that we need in urban Black America? And if so, why are people that are ex gang members, right? And we have definitely criticized them. I got to give them his props. Why are the brothers who are talented, that do have the knowledge, you know, why is it? Why are we not developing those kind of programs in the inner city? And somebody like Nipsey is beating us to the punch because we're not even there to even do things like that. What does that say about us as a group of people, as a group of elite class of Blacks, some of us who are in this class? What's your take on that?
Well, I don't really know about all the STEM programs that exist around the country, because just because Nipsey was doing something, or you know, he was trying to do it, does not mean that he would be the only one that could do something like that.
Okay.
It's a lot of guys doing different things. Just like, shout out to Dynast Amir. He put out stuff on his Facebook page about how it's not just the one store that Nipsey owned on Crenshaw and Slauson that's Black owned. It's a lot of Black owned spots right there on that same street. So it ain't just him that's doing it. It's others that are doing it as well. You know, I can't speak for the entirety of the public school system in the United States or the private school system, but I'm sure that there are other STEM programs that exist that Black folks can be involved in. The thing about Black folks is that many of us choose not to get involved with STEM. And I think that the severity of the situation, as far as our joblessness and our underemployment, is not stressed enough in early childhood. See, a lot of these Asians that come over here from the Indian subcontinent and also from China, Japan, Korea, etc., they're taught from a young age, hey, you're going to be getting involved with technology. You're going to be on this computer. You're going to be reading. You're going to actually learn this technical stuff, but it's not so much for us. See, a lot of that goes back to what I was saying before about having the proper childhood, the proper household. If you're not told these things from a young age, how would you even know? Why would you be interested in it if you have never been told about it until you get to be an adult? It might almost be too late at that point, because you've missed a lot of the programs that could happen when you were in elementary school, middle school, high school, etc. When I graduated, I had some kind of certificate for technology, you know, because I took any kind of technical class I could, anything I could get my hands on, robotics, any kind of computer class, anything like that I was in, because I knew I would need that in the future. I had the foresight. A lot of us don't have that. Now I can imagine how things are now in 2019. I graduated in 02, where this is before the cell phone is how it is right now, before the smartphone. This is before a lot of different things that exist right now. This is before a lot of the technology that we use has become much more cheap. The iPads, iPods, whatever, these things are readily available in a lot of these school systems, even in the urban inner city areas, because it ain't that expensive. So I think the tools are there, but the question is, are we taking advantage of them? That's that's probably the bigger question.
No. I agree. I agree. ABL, you got like 10 minutes for me, or you got like 5? I gotta go right now, or
I got time. I got time. We good.
I got 10 minutes. All right, ABL. Let me kind of talk about some of these other things, right? And this is with basically let me talk about, like, I guess the guy you're talking about, not Ice Cube, but Ice Cube had lived in the ghetto like once he was a superstar and got robbed like 4 or 5 times, stuff like this. I guess what I want to know, ABL, because a lot of people think that educated black people really feel that they are better and really feel that they're elite. Eh, Do you think? And I hate to ask this though. I know you're gonna be honest. Nipsey Hussle makes his rap album. He doesn't do this business with not dealing with Southside Crenshaw and all this. He living amongst white people in Beverly Hills in a mixed group. Moves his kids out of there. Ain't dealing with niggas no more. Is he still alive today?
100%. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen other West Coast rappers that have gang ties that have done just what you described and who are alive today. I mean, Mac 10 was a blood, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's somewhere chilling. He's not going to be in the hood just doing whatever. He was over there with Cash Money for a minute, if I'm not mistaken, hanging out with them, not in California at all. People like Snoop. I mean, I'm sure Snoop does not live where he grew up at. He probably lives somewhere up in the hills too. Right. And he used to talk about Crip all the time. But yet he's on TV with Martha Stewart making cookies. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's fine right now. Was Q affiliated?
No, not gang.
Nah, he wasn't. But like you said, he was in the hood still getting robbed. And it's like, look, I can't do this, because he knows that he's going to consistently be a target because people know he got money. And it's not even necessarily, it's not, I ain't trying to say something about the whole hood. I'm talking about those that are hungry and who don't care. That's not everybody, but some people, it's a logical thing for them to be hungry and to not really care about who you are. It's like, look, man, you got the money and I need that. So what's up? Get it up. That's kind of their perspective. And then you got some guys that just don't like you because they're envious and jealous. Those things are going to happen. So you can't be in the midst of the people. Some may feel like, oh, he's a sellout or whatever, but who cares? At the end of the day, what's more important, the opinions of others or your kids? This man had 2 kids, little kids too. They got a 3-year-old and his girl or his fiance, Lauren London. What's she going to do now? I'm pretty sure she had at least 1 kid by him, maybe even 2 kids by him. So now you
had a few kids by Lil Wayne too.
By Lil Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, she had like 2. Yeah.
Yeah, she got a whole bunch of things. That's a different story. But anyway, the kids in the situation, he had 2 kids of his own. So it's like, what are they going to do now? Their dad is gone. All because of what? Because he wanted to be a real dude and be in the hood still on Crenshaw, Slauson. It didn't make a difference. You can't take that with you. You can't take the pride and do anything with it. Now you in the casket. What your kids going to do when they go to see you in your casket, or when they're going to see you at your gravesite? They're going to look at your gravestone and be like, oh, he was a real one. I think not. I think they'd rather have you here. So when you become an adult, you got to think that way. You're 33 years old. You got to think that way. You can't think like a 16-year-old with nothing to lose. A brainless person with nothing. You can't think that way. You got to be an adult. Snoop, Mac 10, all these guys, they did that. I'm surprised Suge Knight was able to be out as long as he was out. As crazy as he was, but you see where he's at right now. It don't end well.
Let me kind of talk about this, right? I think, okay, let's say with Nipsey Hussle and his rise to fame, because it's funny, a lot of people know who Nipsey Hussle is, but he wasn't necessarily so mainstream like Snoop. He wasn't so mainstream like Ice Cube. he didn't get like a whole bunch of like radio play in comparisons to like some of the other guys. He kind of reminds me of a guy like, I mean, I can never really compare anybody to E40. E40 the great, but like E40 is like one of those kind of guys, kind of like more kind of out of the trunk kind of dude. Didn't he? You know, people know him, but he didn't really have that rise to fame. So the reason probably why Nipsey was so loyal is because he didn't get a whole lot of radio play and stuff like that. Let's kind of talk about the selling out thing. Do you think that he was in the pressure? Because the black community, man, is a big pressure pipe in certain aspects. A lot of guys want to make sure that people want to make sure that who you dating, who you living around, and things like that. Do you think that he succumbed to the pressure of trying to keep it real, trying to be solid, trying to be a stand-up guy? Is this what he was trying to keep it too real? Is this what you think that pressure from the black community to continue doing that, is that what really led him down this road of meeting his demise by a hater?
I think so. I definitely think so because you out there trying to represent, trying to still represent Rolling 60 artists and that, and then also you still getting into little fights here and there, slapping the dude on camera, trying to keep this image up, and there's no need for you to do that. Some would say he's just being real, but all right, like being real, doing what? Are you still banging? Are you still active? If you're still active, then it is what it is. If you die, oh well, that's part of it. But if you're not active and you just rapping and trying to take care of your kids, then what are you doing? You got to pick one. You can't have one foot in, one foot out. I think Boosie said it too. He was like, look, you can't be trying to rap and be a game banger at the same time. One got to go. Either you're going to rap and do that for real, or you're going to be a game banger and do that for real. So you can't have your foot in both worlds. Maybe he was torn between the two, or maybe he was just trying to put on this image of still being real or still being that guy from that block. Either way it goes, it didn't turn out well for him. He should have just done what other guys have done, what Snoop and others have been able to do. Because we've seen rappers, they all the time, lesser known guys like what's a man's name? XXX got killed in Florida. You got the guy Jimmy Wapo got killed in his hometown, Pittsburgh. A lot of guys get killed. So I think Soldier Slim got killed in New Orleans, and Jam Master Jay got killed in his own studio in Queens. So you have to, at a certain point, think beyond just your pride and your ego. Think clearly and logically. I think he was going down that road, but he wasn't there. Like I said before, this is a guy that was trying to figure it out, trying to think right, but he wasn't there yet. So if he was a leader, it's like the blind leading the blind. He didn't really know which way to go, and others that were following him did not know the same thing. So that's pretty much what that is.
Let me talk about this, ABO, because this is an interesting point I gotta make. People like Snoop Dogg, Ti, people when they integrate more so into, they come from the inner city ghettos and then they go into, I would say, some of the better neighborhoods in California, Beverly Hills, Brentwood. We know California is very liberal. And more often than not, those people end up being, once you start, living amongst certain people in Hollywood, you start also taking um a page out of the liberal Democratic Party. You start all of a sudden voting for Hillary Clinton, pushing blacks to do the same thing. We know that always happens. A guy like Nipsey Hussle was really, if you want to talk about in more pro black than almost any of these other guys, he was a big fan of Dr. Sebi. He had that documentary coming out, and he wasn't really necessarily so, because he was more independent of the mainstream. He wasn't so big of a puppet for the left and stuff like that. And I think that he was like that because of the support he had garnered by being much of an independent artist and building a community around his music. He built a community around his brand, and that was very black oriented, and that kind of gave him a little bit more ability to not be so swayed in by outside forces. Do you think that that was a positive? Because a lot of these guys, when they start moving into these places with all these superstars, and they start, they start getting indoctrinated, and that also happens to blacks. I would say a lot of times when they start to, get very successful and move into more integrated neighborhoods or whatever you want to call it, kind of leaving the community, they start to get integrated, and eventually they start to sell out to certain ideas. We definitely see it all the time with blacks in the Democratic Party. Do you think that Nipsey was actually the way he was because he was trying to create this independent hub amongst that was kind of very black and not so influenced by the left?
Well, I really don't know. I think that he was definitely trying to do something that was positive, but I'm not really sure if him being out there in the same hood he grew up in would necessarily accomplish that, being physically there. I think a lot of that was just him trying to hold on to the image. Like I said earlier, he had a positive thing about trying to help a lot of young black men and just blacks in general get better, but he just didn't have all the tools necessary to be able to do so. He didn't have all the mind state properly there to be able to push forward. So I really don't know if that was a driving force. I think the driving force behind him being there was the ego, but he also had a positive thing he was trying to accomplish as well. See, those two things kind of existed and conflicted with each other. You're trying to do right, but at the same time, you're doing wrong because your ego was telling you, yo, I got to be here. I'm rolling 60. I ain't never going back down. You got to pick one. You can't really have one foot in, one foot out.
Mm-hmm. 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 All right, let me do this. Maybe I won't hold you too much longer, but let me shout out some of the super chats, and for the people that's not subscribed to ABL. Not that he needs more subscribers, but we would like to send him some more Negro subscribers so you guys can go over there and troll him. So let's see who needs the link. I'm gonna put it in the description. We have over 1,000 people watching right now, and we're gonna do part 2 with LAR. So call in. So do me a favor and subscribe to ABL in the chat. It's youtube.com/user/alog, or you can type in Anthony Brian Logan on YouTube. Anthony Brian Logan on YouTube. Hit the bell
Matter
and
of fact,
subscribe.
do this. Type in the 3 letters ABL. I come right up.
ABL. Type in ABL. For those of you who are not subscribed to ABL, you'll know it's him. He has like 265,000 subscribers. Love see Shawty, sir. And do me a favor real quick, man. And I want to give some people some shout outs for being here. I know it's kind of hard because the channel's moving fast. But if you can get me to 600 likes, I'll spend the last few minutes of the podcast just shouting people out. But we have 451 likes right now. What I would need is 150 people to like the video. And if we can get that done within the next 5 minutes, I will go ahead and give people shout outs, even on the busy stream like this. So there's his name right there, Anthony Brian Logan. He's real right there in the chat. Let me slow it down real quick, and if we get those 600, I will go ahead and do that. Let me ask you this, ABL. And I'm gonna ask you a personal question right now publicly. Is the black community, is it over? Is it done? Are we wasting our time? Like what's going on?
No, it's not over. It's not done because prior to 1960, we had an 80% two-parent household rate. We can reverse that and get it back to the way it used to be. I mean, now it's at like what, 73% single-parent household rate. We can get it back to 80% two-parent household rate. That was only in 1960, man. It ain't more like, it wasn't like a whole a millennia ago. It was recent, like 50 years ago. We can get it back to that particular point in time, but we got to try. We can't be in here with sitting on our hands and doing nothing. We got to get people back to a more conservative mind state. This whole liberal only thing is a recent phenomenon. 95% vote for the liberal policies of abortion and illegal immigration. These things, gun control, these things are more recent in the black community. We can get it back to how it used to be. So that's why I'm here. That's why I come on these shows and these streams and these panels, is to try and get that back. People message me all the time. I meet people in person, a lot of black folks, and they say that I was able to help them come back to the right. So I'm just one guy doing my part. I don't have to be in the ghetto to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can make an impact outside. I'm doing my part to try to help things go back. And I got faith that it was able to go back. Now, some of us ain't going to be able to be talked to, and that's okay. I'm not trying to say we're going to be able to save everybody, put everybody on Noah's Ark and lead them to the promised land. That ain't really going to be a realistic thing to try and strive for. But as long as I'm able to reach some people and others can do the same thing, I think we're on the right path. So I think we can turn it back around. We're not totally lost yet.
Okay. We're not totally lost yet. All right. Let me do this. Let me shout out some subscribers. Basically, I want to thank everybody, ABL for being here. We got like 5 more minutes, and I'll let ABL say whatever he has to say. But let's see what we got here, because some good points. Love see Shawty, sir, 2 hour super chat. Poetic sounds. Word on the street out here, his own homie from his hood killed him. Video of him walking right up to them. Whoa.
Yeah, I saw the video on TMZ. It's clear as day. It was one dude, white t-shirt, black male, walked straight up to where Nipsey was at, and you see Nipsey Hussle fall down after he gets shot. So yeah, it wasn't no government hit, no black van running up people in suits and ties. Nah, it wasn't that.
Wow, it's actually wow. Okay. Damn. So it's his own friend that did it.
That's what they're saying. I'm not really sure who exactly did it, but that's word on the street. From what I'm hearing in LA, people I know that's there, they're saying that it was somebody that he knew.
Okay. I gotta check that out, man. TMZ be having the news before anybody. Like, what's going on? Like all the ghetto news, they be having that shit all the time.
Yes, they do.
So let me see. Oh wow. Hold on a second. Oh yeah. I definitely see
Yeah,
it.
you see it. Yeah.
Wait, let me see it again.
Matter of fact, it was a guy that was on Instagram Live talking about he did that. Now, I don't think he actually was the person that did it, but that's what he said. He said that he ran up on him, asked him where you from. He said 60s, and he shot him right in front of his daughter. It was a little kid there. I'm not really sure who it was. So that person could have been the person that did that, but I'm not really sure. But we do have footage of whoever did it. They said that it was a black male in his 20s. When he ran away, he got into a car driven by a woman.
Wow. Michael Merriweather, thank you. Maurice Dollar. Nick Taylor, he didn't give up his life. His life was taken. Wake the hell up. Spook Freeman, some folks are saying that was a professional execution, not some Jerry Curl gangbangers.
It's hold on. Yeah. I gotta talk about that. Do you know that is gangbangers in the military, in the U.S. military right now? Guys banging Crip, blood, all that, like MA, all that in the military right now. So don't think that just because you a gangbanger that you know in the Jerry Curl, that's come on, man. You're talking about movies. Like, this is real life, man. These guys know how to shoot. You got guys that home invade that get training at ranges. I've seen video footage of home invasions. You got guys with the pistols at 9 o'clock right in front of them, fully extended, 4 guys deep in one house. Like, these dudes ain't playing no more. That's why I'm talking about why you voting for the liberal policies that try to restrict guns. These dudes, these young boys especially, they're not playing no games. They're on their phones. They become educated about the criminal stuff. So you ain't talking about old dog and Mensa Society just shooting his gun sideways. It ain't like that. These guys know how to shoot. Don't get it twisted.
I was watching Al Prophet, and like one of the biggest like I forgot what this Detroit game back in the day that was rolling with but anyways, this dude was like a military combat trained veteran that turned hitman.
Yes.
So that's definitely true. You have dudes out there. I actually know dudes in the military, man, that's still throwing up blood signs and stuff like that. And you know what I mean, can do all kind of shit, like can fight, can do all type of other things, lift weights, you know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So, so that's definitely true. So anyways, this is what I'm gonna do after I'm going to the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. We have a stream in 12 minutes of me and ABL, the Brother Pep Podcast. It is a call-in show. So did Nipsey Hussle die for being loyal to the hood? Part 2. I want to thank ABL for being in part 1. So make sure you guys do this. Go to my other channel, right? And my other channel is there. O'Shea Vlogcast. Moses. I know several dudes. One of my homeboys is in Texas. I know niggas is Crips. I know hella niggas that do that. Throw up the B in the military. Throw up the Crips. Both. But Brother Moses, we definitely know one person that does it. So basically, let's do that, man. Go to my other class channel, O'Shea Vlogcast, and and we'll be over there again. ABL, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Anything else you want to say to the people?
That's pretty much it, man. Thank you for having me. I think this is really important for people to see because this gang lifestyle, it ain't what you want. It's not a game to be played with. You got adults trying to be gang bangers. Don't do it. Save yourself. Save your life. Don't put pride above your life, your freedom. Don't put pride above your kids, future, and your foundation. And just live right, man. That's all I got. Peace.
Right. His name is Nate Booncraft. Exactly. Yes. That's true. Shout out again. All right. See you guys on the other channel. Me and ABL. I mean, not ABL, but LAR Movement. We're going live in 10 minutes. Call-in shows. You guys can call in and talk about it. Shout out again to ABL. Appreciate you, family.
All right. No problem, man. Peace.
Peace.